Everything begins within. Before the mansion is built, before the wealth is accumulated, before the success is broadcasted to the world, it is first imagined. Imagination is not a passive daydream. It is a creative act. It is the divine faculty through which we mold our world. To feel like a millionaire before the millions arrive, you must train yourself to imagine differently, deliberately, and persistently. You are not waiting for life to hand you riches. You are commanding reality to express your inner convictions. What you consistently imagine yourself to be, you become. Not because imagination is wishful thinking, but because it is the cause of all outward expression. The world you see is not separate from your consciousness. It is shaped by it, colored by it, and projected by it. When you consistently hold the image of yourself as wealthy, successful, and free, you are not pretending, you are creating. You are rewriting the unseen blueprint that governs the events of your life. This is not arrogance, it is alignment. You are aligning yourself with a deeper truth, a higher identity, one that already exists within you. The problem is not that people imagine too much, but that they imagine the wrong things. They see debt, so they feel poor. They see struggle, so they assume lack. But the senses only confirm the past. Imagination reveals the future. To truly be wealthy, you must ignore the evidence of the senses and become loyal to your inner vision. This is not denial, it is mastery. It is the secret the world overlooks. Let your imagination become your sanctuary. Visit it often. Sit in silence and ask yourself, what would my life look like if I were already a millionaire? Do not answer with logic. Feel it. Experience it in full color. Walk through your dream home. Sit in the comfort of your favorite chair. See your bank balance reflecting abundance. Hear the words of admiration spoken about you. Feel the security, the power, the joy of having more than enough. This practice is not to get rich in the traditional sense. It is to become inwardly rich now. It is to enter the state where money is not something you chase. It is something that flows to you as a natural response to your consciousness. The outer world will catch up, but only if you do not waver. Return daily to your inner sanctuary. Build the habit of seeing yourself as wealthy. Do not do it to impress the world. Do it to awaken the truth within you. Wealth is not something you achieve. It is something you express. And expression begins in imagination. The world will follow your lead when you lead from within. Imagination is not the escape from reality, it is the foundation of it. Dare to imagine boldly, and reality must conform. This is the true power hidden in plain sight. Your imagination is the gateway to reality. The key to transformation is not effort, but identification. You must stop reaching for your desires as if they are somewhere far away. Instead, bring them into the present by assuming they are already yours. Do not wait for the millions to feel abundant. Feel abundant now, and the millions will have no choice but to show up. Living in the end means occupying the state of your fulfilled desire, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, before there is any evidence in the physical world. It means thinking from your goal, not about your goal. You do not try to become wealthy, you become it in consciousness. You no longer ask, when will it happen? You begin to live as if it has already happened. This is not pretending, it is creating. You are not faking anything. You are faithfully inhabiting a reality that already exists on a higher level. Your job is not to force it into existence, but to assume the position of one who already possesses it. Ask yourself daily, if I were already a millionaire, how would I think, speak, move, and feel? What decisions would I make? What would I no longer worry about? What would I expect? Living in the end requires that you allow these answers to shape your behavior right now, not someday in the future. Your inner world must reflect the truth of your fulfilled desire, even when the outer world has not yet caught up. Living in the end is an act of radical faith. It is choosing to prioritize your inner conviction over external conditions. And here is the paradox. Once you truly live in the end, the outer world begins to rearrange itself to match your new identity. The world cannot help but yield to your dominant state of being. This state must become natural. It should feel so real to you that you no longer question it. You no longer hope for wealth. You move through your day with the confidence of someone who already has it. You no longer seek signs. You are the sign. The world reflects who you are being, not what you are wanting. When doubts arise, and they will, do not fight them. Simply return to the state. Re-enter the end in your imagination. See it, feel it, dwell in it. Let it soothe you and guide you. Let the feeling of the wish fulfilled be your resting place. When this becomes your default state, life begins to bend around your new identity. Understand this. Your desire was not given to torment you. It was given to awaken you. It is a seed from a higher realm, and it comes complete with all that is required for its fulfillment. But you must nourish it by living as though it is already so. So today, make the decision. Stop postponing your wealth. Step into the feeling of already being that which you desire. Don't wait for the end. Live in the end. And from that place, all things are not only possible, they are inevitable. Wealth is not a number in a bank account. It is a state of being. It is not something you acquire. It is something you embody. When you assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, you no longer act as someone who is striving for success. You become the person who already possesses it. And in the becoming, the outer world must rearrange itself to mirror your inner transformation. Your emotional state is creative. It sends out a silent signal to the universe, and that signal is always being answered. When you feel poor, needy, or lacking, even if you mask it with positive words, you are still declaring, "I do not have," and the world echoes back that truth. But when you feel rich, secure, and abundant, regardless of your current circumstances, you are broadcasting a new signal, one that commands reality to follow. Assumption is not about effort or force. It is about surrendering into the truth of the desired state. To assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled means to dwell in the emotional atmosphere of already having what you desire. It is feeling as though your desire has already been realized and living from that conviction. You don't wait for evidence to feel differently. You feel differently first, and then the evidence appears. This is the great reversal that most never understand. The world teaches you to react, but creation demands that you lead. You must feel the result before the result can show itself. Feel rich now, and the world must catch up. Imagine what it would feel like if money were no longer a concern. Let that feeling rise in your body. Would you feel relieved, grateful, free? Would you walk differently, speak with more certainty, sleep more peacefully? That feeling is the key. It is not fantasy, it is the blueprint. You must move into that state, occupy it fully, and let it become familiar. And here's the beautiful secret. You can do this now. No one can stop you from entering the state of wealth in your mind. You don't need permission. You don't need the current balance in your bank account to change. You need only to accept, emotionally and mentally, that you are what you desire to be. When the feeling becomes natural, the world responds. It may not happen instantly, but it must happen. The laws of creation are exact. Persist in the assumption and do not let temporary appearances shake your inner conviction. The longer you remain in the state, the more inevitable its expression becomes. So practice this daily. Sit quietly, close your eyes, and step into the version of you who is already rich. Not tomorrow, not later, now. Feel the warmth of abundance, the confidence, the calm power of wealth. Let it clothe your mind. Let it become who you are. You are not chasing wealth, you are revealing it. The treasure is already within you. Assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, and your world will reshape itself in perfect harmony with the truth you now dare to feel. One of the greatest obstacles to manifestation is the mind's insistence on controlling the path. It wants to know how everything will happen, when it will arrive, and through whom. But that need to micromanage life is what keeps your desire at arm's length. The truth is, the path to millions is not your concern. It is not your job to figure out how abundance will reach you. Your only responsibility is to remain loyal to the state of already being wealthy. Desire does not come alone. It carries with it the means of its own fulfillment. The moment you truly desire something, and assume it has already done, the unseen begins to move. Invisible currents shift, people, opportunities, and events begin to align. But these movements happen beyond your line of sight. You may not see the orchestration, but it is happening nonetheless. When you constantly ask how, you are declaring that you do not trust the process. You are telling the universe, I do not believe this can happen unless I control every step. And so you block the flow. You introduce doubt, tension, and fear. You step out of the end state and into the waiting state. And in doing so, you delay your own manifestation. Essentially, detachment from the how is not indifference. It is wisdom. It is knowing that your imagination is the seed and your assumption is the soil. Once planted, your only job is to remain faithful to what you've created within. You do not dig up the seed to check if it's growing. You water it with confidence. You nourish it with repetition. You protect it from doubt. Faith is demonstrated by rest. If you truly believed you were already wealthy, you wouldn't worry about the mechanics. You wouldn't obsess over the next step. You would trust that all things are working for your good, even if you cannot yet see how. You would move with quiet certainty. You would live your life with a calm assurance that what you've imagined is already on its way. Miracles often arrive through the most ordinary channels. You may receive a phone call, a job offer, a new connection, or even a seemingly random idea. But these are not accidents. They are the result of your inner state. Do not try to predict how it will unfold. Simply remain in the feeling of being wealthy now, and allow the path to reveal itself in its own time and form. Let go of the timeline. Let go of the need to plan every detail. Let go of the urge to doubt when things seem still. Trust that the stillness is not stagnation, it is preparation. The invisible is organizing on your behalf. Doors will open and you will know which one to walk through when the moment comes. Stay loyal to the end. That is your only task. Feel it, live it, believe it. The how will take care of itself. Life is not asking you to control it, only to align with it. Detach from the how, and you will witness the impossible become inevitable. Words are not just sounds. They are declarations of identity. Every time you speak, whether aloud or silently in your mind, you are casting a vote for the version of yourself you believe in. If you want to experience the life of a millionaire, you must begin to speak from that reality, not about it as a distant goal, but from it as a present truth. There is a powerful difference between saying one day I'll be rich and saying I am wealthy now. The former places your desire in the future, always just out of reach. The latter anchors it in the present, where creation actually occurs. You are not trying to become something, you are affirming that you already are. This is where most people go wrong. They speak about what they want, complain about what they don't have, and talk about lack as if it were unchangeable. They beg, wish, and hope, not realizing that these postures only reinforce their current state. But to truly shift your reality, you must speak from the place you wish to occupy. You must claim it in thought, word, and feeling. Imagine the inner dialogue of someone who already possesses great wealth. Would they worry about bills? Would they obsess over price tags? Would they speak in terms of struggle and limitation? No. Their words would reflect confidence, peace, generosity, and abundance. Begin to speak in this way, and you align your vibration with the very reality you wish to enter. Let your inner conversations be filled with certainty, not desire. When you talk to yourself, and you do, all day long, let those quiet conversations reflect your new identity. Say to yourself, I always have more than enough. Money flows easily to me. I make decisions from a place of power. I am blessed beyond measure. You are not lying. Even when appearances contradict your words, persist. Speak from the end result, not from the temporary facts. Creation is not confirmed by what you see, it is confirmed by what you declare. You are not waiting for proof. You are giving life to truth. When challenges arise, do not fall back into old patterns of speech. Speak as the version of yourself who already knows how this story ends. You are not the character trying to win. You are the one who has already won. Let your tone, your energy, your words reflect that reality. Speak with calm authority. Speak with joy. Speak with unshakable belief. Every word you speak carves out your future. Use them wisely. Stop telling the story of struggle. Start telling the story of success. Let the language of wealth become natural to you. Not just in affirmations, but in your ordinary conversations, in your private thoughts, and in your daily choices. You don't need the world to validate you. You need only to remain true to the version of yourself that already exists in imagination. Speak from it, and life will follow your voice. The universe responds to identity, not effort. So speak now, not as someone who hopes to be a millionaire, but as one who already is. Manifestation is not a momentary flash of inspiration. It is a steady, deliberate act of faith. The difference between those who manifest their desires and those who fall short is not talent, luck, or external circumstances. It is persistence. Doubt delays, but persistence creates. You must remain loyal to your imagined reality until it becomes the only truth you recognize. To persist means to occupy the state of your fulfilled desire again and again, regardless of what your senses tell you. The world around you may scream the opposite of your vision. Your bank account might not yet reflect abundance. Circumstances may appear unchanged, but the persistent one does not waver. They continue to walk, speak, and feel as though their desire is already fact. This is the secret. What you consistently accept as true within must eventually become true without. The world cannot resist your sustained inner conviction. But most people give up too soon. They plant the seed of wealth in their imagination, but when the results don't appear instantly, they dig it up with doubt. They let the visible override the invisible. And so they start over again and again, never allowing the new state to take root. But if you will persist, quietly, confidently, without needing evidence, you will see your assumption harden into fact. It may come slowly at first, like a distant echo, a small shift here, a new opportunity there. But soon the momentum builds. Life begins to reshape itself around your dominant state. The outer world conforms to the inner blueprint. Persistence is not about force, it's about faithfulness. You are remaining faithful to your new identity not because you are trying to make something happen, but because you know it already has. There is nothing to chase, only something to become. You live as the millionaire now. Not tomorrow, not someday, but now. You buy in your imagination. You live in gratitude. You think from abundance. You do this again and again until it becomes natural. And when it becomes natural, it becomes real. Every great manifestation begins with persistence. The dreamer holds to their dream through silence, through setbacks, through appearances. They trust the unseen more than the seen. They speak wealth into being even when no one else sees it. They are not moved by facts. They are anchored in truth. And that truth is simple. You already are what you desire to be. It is done. The only thing left is to remain in that knowing long enough for the outer world to catch up. You don't need to beg, hustle, or prove anything. You only need to persist. So hold the image, feel the feeling, speak the words. Walk in the assumption and do it until there is no room for doubt, until it becomes effortless, until the inner becomes outer. Reality will bend, the world will conform, and what once lived only in your imagination will stand before you as fact. So now you know. The millionaire version of you is not waiting somewhere in the distance. It is here, now, ready to be claimed. Your wealth does not begin with action, but with being. You become it in thought. You assume it in feeling. You express it in speech, and you remain faithful to it in imagination until the unseen becomes seen. Live in the end. Assume the feeling. Detach from the how. Speak from it. Persist without wavering. This is the divine formula. This is the path walked by those who understand that reality begins within, no matter where you are right now. Know this, your current circumstances are not the final word. You are the operant power. The authority over your life rests in your ability to feel a new state, to inhabit it, and to trust it until it becomes flesh. Dare to believe that what you imagine is more real than what you see. Dare to remain faithful to your inner vision in a world that insists you be realistic. And dare, above all, to feel now what you once reserved for the future. Because when you feel it now, the future must obey. Thank you. Thank you for opening your heart to this message. Thank you for daring to dream bigger. And thank you for choosing, right now, to step into the most powerful truth of all. You already are what you desire to be. The rest is just catching up. Close your eyes to the world for a moment. Step back from all appearances. Ignore the facts, the noise, the delays. What if I told you that miracles are not earned, chased, or begged for? They are received by assumption. You are not here to wait. You are here to become. To awaken to the truth that your every desire already exists in another dimension, waiting for you to align with it. And the secret, the real divine secret, is to act as if it is already yours. You see, the world reflects what you are, not what you wish for. You are not a beggar in this universe. You are the magnet. And what does a magnet do? It does not struggle. It does not effort. It simply attracts by nature of what it is. So I ask you, who are you being today? Are you acting as if you are someone waiting for miracles? Or are you being the one through whom miracles flow? The one who knows, not guesses. The one who assumes the reality they desire so completely, the outer world must obey. Your only job is to embody the state. Not speak of it, not hope for it, but to walk, breathe, and feel from it. Speak as the healed, move as the blessed, think as the abundant, rest as the one whose prayer is already answered. Do not measure the delay, do not look at the clock. Time has no authority over miracles. Miracles operate on belief, not schedules. And when your assumption is pure, when you are inwardly convinced, the outer will bend. This is not performance. This is revelation. When you act as if you are not pretending, you are unveiling the truth of what is already done in the unseen. You are not waiting on the miracle. The miracle is waiting on you, on your decision, on your assumption, on your embodiment. Miracles are not distant. They are drawn to the one who becomes the living vibration of their desire. So today, walk differently, think differently, feel differently, act as if you are already in possession of your answered prayer. Because in truth, you are the magnet, the miracle is drawn, and nothing can stop the one who dares to believe it is already so. Your inner world creates your outer world. Miracles begin in imagination before they appear in form. This is not poetry. It is not metaphor. It is a law, one that governs the very fabric of your reality. You walk through a world that is, moment by moment, mirroring the content of your own consciousness. Look around, not with your eyes, but with your awareness. And you will see that every circumstance, every relationship, every joy or conflict is a reflection of something long accepted within. Before a miracle is seen, it is felt. Before it touches your hands, it must take root in your mind. Your imagination is not some idle playground for fantasy. It is the womb of creation itself. Everything that has ever come into your life, whether welcome or unwanted, first appeared as a thought, a belief, an assumption. You may not have been conscious of it at the time, but the seeds were sown in the silence of your inner world. That is the power you carry. That is the truth you must awaken to. Most live backwards, reacting to what they see, responding to what already is, and wondering why nothing changes. They wait for evidence before they believe. But those who understand the deeper law, the invisible design of reality, they do not wait. They do not ask the world for permission to believe. They feel the thing fulfilled within, and by that sacred feeling, they shape what the world must become. You are not a passive observer, you are the author. You are not at the mercy of circumstance unless you believe you are. The world of form, of material, is the echo. The real sound is made within. Your imagination is not a toy. It is divine instruction. When you dwell in an image of lack, fear, or defeat, you are handing the world the blueprint for your next experience. But when you dwell in love, in wealth, in joy, even when appearances say otherwise, you are planting seeds that must bloom. Miracles are not found, they are realized. They emerge through faith in things not yet seen, and they take shape according to your inner acceptance. Ask yourself, what are you imagining daily? What silent stories do you rehearse? What emotional tones do you dwell in? Because these are not meaningless habits. They are creative acts. They are decisions that the unseen responds to without fail. The world cannot give you what you deny yourself in imagination. You cannot hope for peace while indulging thoughts of war. You cannot ask for abundance while secretly entertaining poverty in your mind. You must first become the version of yourself who has already received. See it, feel it, believe it not as hope but as fact, and hold it even in the silence, even in the delay. This is the way of miracles, not through effort but through alignment. Not by chasing, but by embodying. Not by begging, but by assuming. The moment you make peace with your desire and see it as already yours within, the outer world begins to rearrange itself. You will find yourself in the right place at the right time. The right people will be drawn, the needed resources will flow. But it is not chance, it is not luck, it is the law. The outer must follow the inner. So go within, make your home there. Plant miracles in the garden of imagination, nourish them with conviction, and let the world, in its perfect timing, reflect the truth you already carry inside. Because the miracle was never out there, it was always in you. Assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled. This is how you become aligned with the miraculous. The secret is not in effort, nor in striving, nor in waiting. The secret is in the assumption, the inner acceptance that what you desire is already yours. Not in theory, not in imagination alone, but in feeling. Feeling is the bridge between the invisible and the visible, between what is dreamed and what becomes real. To assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled is to live as though the desire is no longer a hope, but a present reality. You do not simply think about what you want. You feel from it. You move as the person who already possesses it. You breathe differently. You walk differently. There is a quiet confidence, a stillness that settles within you because you are no longer yearning, you are receiving. Most wait for the outer world to justify their inner belief. They say, once it comes, I'll be happy. Once I see it, I'll believe. But that is not the way of miracles. That is the way of delay. Creation does not respond to the external plea, but to the inner state. It is only when you feel the joy, the peace, the love of your fulfilled desire now that you draw it to you. You must become it within before it appears without. This is not pretending. This is not lying to yourself. This is alignment. It is truth beyond the senses. Your senses report what has been, not what is becoming. The feeling you hold in consciousness again and again is what molds the fabric of your reality. To assume the feeling is to step into a higher dimension, to visit the place where your desire already exists, and to bring a piece of that world back with you. Imagine this. If your desire were fulfilled this very moment, how would you feel? Go there. Not once, not twice, but habitually. Carry that feeling with you as you move through the ordinary. Let it become the atmosphere of your being. Your mind may question. The world may seem unchanged, but something unseen is moving. The unseen is always moved by feeling. Deep, persistent, unwavering feeling. To assume is not to wish, it is to decide. It is to inhabit a state, mentally and emotionally, so completely that the world must conform. You are not waiting for permission. You are not waiting for proof. You are assuming, taking on the identity of the one who has, the one who is, and in doing so, you awaken the miraculous. Many people ask how to manifest quickly. The answer is always the same. Assume the state of the wish fulfilled and refuse to depart from it. Do not concern yourself with how or when. That is not your domain. Your task is to feel the end result now, to rehearse the inner satisfaction, to dwell in the joy of its completion. What you feel, you feed. What you dwell in, you draw. If doubt arises, return to the feeling. If fear knocks, return again. This is a discipline of the soul. To remain loyal to the unseen truth in the face of visible contradiction. Miracles happen when you refuse to lower yourself to the level of appearances and instead remain fixed in the unseen victory. Everything begins with feeling. Everything begins within. If you can see it and feel it within and remain faithful to that internal experience, life will shape itself accordingly. You will find doors opening, paths clearing, circumstances aligning, but all of it began not with action, not with effort, but with assumption. The feeling of the wish fulfilled is the signal you send to the universe. It says, "This is who I am now." And once you become it within, the world must bring it forth without. Not by accident, not by chance, but by law. Assume it now, feel it now, and let the miraculous unfold. Belief is not hope. Belief is inner knowing, a silent certainty that reshapes reality. Hope waits. Hope wonders. Hope looks to the outside for signs, for evidence, for confirmation that what is desired might one day come. But belief is different. Belief does not beg. It does not plead. It stands tall in the unseen and declares, "It is done." Belief is not fragile, wavering with every change in circumstance. It is rooted in the invisible, unshaken by what the eyes see or the ears hear. It is not born of logic or proof, but of inner conviction. You do not need to convince the world, you need only convince yourself. For once you believe, truly, deeply, without contradiction, the outer world must yield. Reality bends to belief, not the other way around. Your inner state dictates your external experience. What you hold to be true in consciousness, what you accept without question, begins to form the pattern by which life unfolds around you. This inner knowing is not loud, it doesn't shout. It doesn't announce itself. It moves quietly beneath the surface like a deep current, shaping everything in its path. You may not see the movement at first. The world may still appear as it was, but when belief is fully assumed, not wished, not desired, but accepted, the shift has already begun. The outcome is sealed. The seed is planted. To believe is to know before you see. It is to feel something so real within that the absence of it in the outer world feels almost like a mistake. You walk, you speak, you think as though it already exists, because in your inner world it does. And since your inner world is the cause of your outer world, it is only a matter of time before what is known inwardly becomes manifest outwardly. Many confuse belief with effort. They think if they work harder, if they speak affirmations louder, if they repeat something enough times, belief will come. But belief is not forced. It is not a product of repetition alone. It arises when you let go of the doubt, when you stop needing proof, and simply accept that what you desire is already yours. Not someday, now. Even if you cannot touch it yet, belief allows you to touch it in consciousness. This kind of belief is unbothered by delay. It doesn't ask, where is it? It doesn't check for results. It rests, it knows. It is the quiet power behind all true creation. It does not panic when things appear contrary. It does not collapse under challenge. It remains still, confident in the unseen law that governs all things, that the inner shapes the outer, that what is felt to be true must eventually take form. You do not need to understand how. You do not need to chase, manipulate, or control. You need only believe, which is to say, to live from the end, to see yourself already where you want to be, and to stay loyal to that vision no matter what appearances say. This loyalty to the unseen is the greatest act of faith, and it is faith that moves the invisible hand that arranges miracles. So if you seek change, seek first to believe, not casually, not once in a while, but with unwavering inner certainty. Know what you want, feel it as yours, live as if it is already so. That belief, that silent knowing will do more for you than any action born of doubt ever could. It will make the way where there was no way. It will draw to you what no effort alone can achieve. Belief does not wait for permission. It creates. It is the unseen architect of destiny. And once it is claimed fully within, life has no choice but to obey. You do not attract what you want, you attract what you are conscious of being. Desire alone does not create. Wishing for something, even intensely, is not enough. The universe is not moved by wants, it is moved by identity. It mirrors what you are, not what you hope to become. This is the great secret, that the world outside you is nothing more than a reflection of your own state of consciousness. To want something is to acknowledge its absence, and in acknowledging its absence, you create more of the same. You may say, I want love, I want wealth, I want peace, but if your inner state is one of lack, of waiting, of need, then that is what life will continue to echo back. You cannot stand in the place of longing and receive fulfillment. You must become the fulfillment. You must rise in consciousness to the level of your desire and claim it as already yours. Consciousness is the one and only reality, what you are conscious of being, not just occasionally but consistently, forms the blueprint of your life. You may want abundance, but if you feel poor, if you speak from struggle, if you move through the world with the heaviness of limitation, you are identifying as someone without, and so life will match you there. Not because it is cruel, but because it is lawful. The law is simple. You must be before you can see. You must first embody the version of yourself that already has the thing you desire. That is how you shift your reality. Not by chasing, not by striving, but by being. Being in this sense does not mean pretending. It means aligning your feelings, your thoughts, your expectations with the version of yourself that already possesses the thing you seek. If you desire love, you must become love. You must treat yourself with the tenderness and worthiness you long to receive. If you desire success, you must feel successful now, not because of your bank account, but because you know success is a state of mind first. If you want peace, you must stop identifying with chaos. You cannot continue to affirm problems and expect solutions to manifest. You must step into the state where the problem has already been resolved. Many say, but how do I do this when my reality is so different from what I desire? And the answer is, you do it within. You begin in imagination. You cultivate the feeling of the end. You assume the role. You make your inner world more real than the outer. And you hold to that feeling day after day until it becomes your new identity. And once it becomes who you are, the outer world will reorganize itself to reflect that change. It is not enough to say affirmations while feeling otherwise. It is not enough to visualize once and return to fear. You must become saturated with the feeling of the wish fulfilled. You must dwell in it so persistently that there is no longer room for contradiction. That is how consciousness works. It impresses itself upon the formless substance of life and brings into shape whatever image it holds most dominantly. Your outer world is always showing you who you are being. If you wish to change the outer, change the inner. Begin by observing what you are consistently feeling, thinking, and expecting, not from a place of judgment, but from understanding. And once you know where your consciousness resides, you can begin to elevate it, not by force, but by choice. You simply choose again and again to return to the state of being that matches the life you desire. You do not need to chase anything. The moment you become it within, it begins moving toward you. Not by effort, but by alignment. You attract not by wanting, but by being. And what you are conscious of being is what the world must reveal. Every miracle is already yours in the unseen. You must walk as if it were visible. There is nothing you seek that does not already exist. The moment a desire is born within you, its fulfillment is born as well. Not in the world of facts, but in the unseen realm of consciousness. This realm is not imagination in the childish sense, but imagination as divine blueprint, as the true creative power of life. Every miracle, every breakthrough, every answered prayer begins there, waiting not for the world to change, but for you to change your awareness of it. Most people live as if the unseen is unreal and the seen is the only truth. They wait to see it before they believe it. But that is not how creation works. You do not see it and then believe. You believe it and then you see it. The unseen must be accepted as more real than the current facts, or you will stay trapped in cycles that repeat not because you are unlucky, but because your inner state remains unchanged. To walk as if the miracle were visible means to carry yourself in faith, not as blind belief, but as inner knowing. It means to align your thoughts, your emotions, and your actions with the truth that what you desire has already been granted. Not in some distant future, not if you prove yourself worthy, but now, in the eternal now. Your miracle is already complete, but only to the degree that you claim it as real. The unseen is more powerful than the seen because it is the cause, while the seen is only the effect. To dwell only in what your five senses can perceive is to live in the past. For all that appears is a reflection of former states of consciousness. But the moment you assume the state of the miracle, the world begins to shift. You may not see it at first, but the shift is already in motion, like a seed sprouting underground before it breaks through the surface. So how do you walk as if it were visible? You begin by choosing to feel the end, the outcome as already complete. If you knew that your healing had occurred, how would you speak? If your abundance were secured, how would you walk into a room? If the love you seek were already beside you, how would you feel waking up in the morning? These are not empty questions. These are the keys to stepping into the vibration of your miracle. You do not beg for what is already yours. You do not plead with the universe. When you understand that the universe responds to identity, not desperation, you must shift from I want to I am, from I hope to I know. When you live from that state, you do not chase outcomes, you embody them. You become the person who already possesses the result. And in doing so, you draw it near effortlessly. Doubt may come, appearances may contradict, but you must remain loyal to the unseen. That is the test. To persist in the assumption, even when nothing around you supports it. To speak as though the answer has already arrived. To act as though the way has already been made clear. This is not delusion. This is divine discipline. It is how the invisible becomes visible, how the intangible becomes tangible. Your miracle is not coming, it is already here. But you must rise to meet it in consciousness. You must claim it in imagination and carry yourself as one who already possesses it. Speak the words, feel the feelings, take the steps. Not because you are pretending, but because you know a greater truth than the one the world offers you. The unseen becomes seen when you stop waiting and start being. Be the version of yourself who already received. Be the one who walks in gratitude before the evidence appears. Be the one who trusts that what was done in spirit must appear in form. And soon enough, what was once only imagined will become undeniable reality, because you had the courage to walk as if it were already so. The unseen responds to your dominant assumption. Live as if the miracle has already occurred. All creation begins in the invisible. The world you experience with your five senses is not the cause but the effect. What appears before you is merely the echo of what has been impressed upon the unseen realm. And this realm, which many dismiss as fantasy or wishful thinking, is the birthplace of every miracle. It does not respond to momentary desires or fleeting thoughts. It responds only to your dominant assumption, the state of consciousness you occupy most consistently. Your dominant assumption is not what you hope for when you are feeling inspired or when things are going well. It is the belief you return to when you're alone with your thoughts, when fear creeps in, when the facts of life seem to contradict your desires. It is your internal compass, the self-concept you've accepted as true. And from that internal state, your entire outer world is constructed. The unseen does not argue with you. It simply reflects. If you desire a miracle, whether in health, in finances, in relationships, or in your sense of purpose, you must first assume it has already occurred. You must make that assumption so natural, so familiar, that it feels more real to you than anything your physical eyes can see. That is the key. The unseen responds not to what you say occasionally, but to what you are, what you feel to be true at the core of your being. Living as if the miracle has already occurred is not pretending. It is not fantasy or self-deception. It is spiritual alignment. It is the bold declaration that inner reality is greater than outer circumstance. When you assume the feeling of the fulfilled desire, you are not wishing, you are creating. You are laying the groundwork for the unseen to crystallize into form. So how does one live in this assumption? You feel it. You enter the state of your wish fulfilled and you dwell there. You imagine how life looks and feels now that your miracle has come to pass. You move through your day with the calm confidence that comes from knowing it is already done. You let go of waiting, because waiting implies it's not yet yours. You stop checking for evidence, because one who knows does not need proof. Second, you speak from it. Your words carry creative power. If you continue to speak of problems, delays, and lack, you are reinforcing a reality you no longer wish to inhabit. But when you speak from the state of completion, when your words match the world you have already claimed in consciousness, you solidify that reality in the unseen. Eventually it must appear. Third, you act from it. You begin to carry yourself like someone who has already received. You make decisions as if the outcome were guaranteed. You no longer act out of fear or desperation, but from peace, clarity, and assurance. And though the facts may not have changed yet, your inner world has, and the outer must follow. There is no power in waiting for conditions to change before you believe. There is only delay. But when you dare to assume, when you choose to live in the end, to embody your desire, the unseen begins to shift. Circumstances, people, and events will move to match your inner state. And it will feel miraculous, not because something was created out of nothing, but because you aligned with what was always available. The unseen is never withholding. It is always responding, faithfully, precisely, and without judgment. It gives you not what you beg for, but what you accept as true. The moment your dominant assumption becomes one of already having, already being, your miracle is no longer distant, it becomes inevitable. So, stop asking whether it will happen, assume that it already has. and live, speak, and move from that sacred place. For the unseen responds only to the truth you live in your heart. And when that truth is one of fulfillment, life will unfold to prove it. The truth is simple yet profound. You are not here to chase miracles, but to awaken to the reality that they already exist within you. The world you experience is not something happening to you, but something flowing from you. As you shift your dominant assumptions, as you live from the end, as you walk in the feeling of already having, the unseen begins to rearrange itself in your favor. You do not need to strive or struggle. You need only to remember who you are, a living magnet for miracles, a divine creator clothed in human form. What you assume consistently becomes your world. What you believe silently becomes your life. So dare to believe in the invisible, dare to walk by faith and not by sight, and most importantly, dare to become the one who already holds the very thing they once hoped for. Now, live boldly, act confidently, and speak as though your miracle is already here. Because in truth, it is. Thank you. Close your eyes for a moment and see yourself already possessing what you once longed for. It is not in the future. It is here. It is now. The difference between delay and instant manifestation is not effort. It is vibration. You have heard it said that what you feel becomes real. But what does it truly mean to vibrate higher? It means to choose a new state of being, deliberately, not reacting to the world, but creating from within. You are not a victim of time or chance. You are the center of power, and all that appears without is only a reflection of what is assumed within. When your inner state is elevated, when you dwell in peace, joy, gratitude, and conviction, you become magnetic to all that matches that frequency. But when you beg, when you doubt, when you wait, you delay. Vibrating higher is not about pretending. It is about being the version of you who already has it. Speak as they would speak. Walk as they would walk. Think and feel from the fulfilled state. Do not wait for the world to change so you can feel secure. Feel secure and watch how the world rearranges itself in your favor. Let us be clear, the only thing that slows down your manifestation is the belief that it is not already yours. The moment you persist in the assumption, not once, not twice, but consistently, the bridge of incidents begins to unfold. Stop asking how. Stop wondering when. It is already done. All that is required is your alignment, your vibration, your certainty. And so, if you want to manifest faster, live in the state of the wish fulfilled, not as a visitor, but as a resident. From this elevated place, time bends, resistance dissolves, and what you once thought was far off appears effortlessly. You are the operant power. Vibrate higher, and it must come faster, because you no longer wait. You are. The greatest truth you will ever come to realize is this: you are the operant power. There is no power outside of you acting upon your life. There is no external force deciding whether you succeed or fail, receive or lose. The world you see is not commanding you. You are commanding it through your inner state. Every condition, every relationship, every amount of money in your account, every opportunity, all of it is a reflection of what you have accepted as true within. The outer world is nothing more than a mirror, faithfully echoing back the assumptions you hold, not the ones you casually think about once in a while, but the ones you live in and day out. To say that you are the apparent power means you are the one with the authority. You are the cause. Nothing manifests in your reality unless it is first conceived, accepted, and felt within your imagination. This is not theory, this is the law. Most people look outside themselves and wait. They wait for conditions to change, for people to approve, for circumstances to improve, before they dare feel better or believe more. But the truth is reversed. Nothing outside shifts until the inner shift occurs. It is always inside out, never the other way around. And so, when you take full ownership of your state of consciousness, your inner conversations, your emotional tones, your assumptions of how life works, you reclaim your power. You stop blaming, begging, hoping, or wishing. Instead, you become deliberate, intentional, calmly certain. You begin to see your mind as the creative center, your feelings as the fuel, your assumptions as the blueprint. From this awareness, you no longer entertain doubt as a guest, and you no longer treat your desires as distant hopes. You move into the state of already having, already being, already fulfilled. This is not arrogance, this is alignment with the truth. And the truth is, you are not at the mercy of fate. You are not here to struggle, chase, or strive. You are here to assume and receive. Whatever you assume with conviction must take form. The Lord has not failed. But the condition is clear. You must claim the state internally and persist there, even when the senses suggest otherwise, especially when the senses suggest otherwise, because the world reflects you. Not what you wish for, but what you accept. Not what you say out loud, but what you believe quietly. So if you want change, become it. If you want abundance, assume it. If you want love, embody it. The world will catch up to your inner world because it has no choice. You are the operant power. There is no other. And when you finally accept this truth, fully, deeply, life begins to obey you. You do not manifest what you want. You manifest what you are conscious of being. And how do you know what you are conscious of being? Look no further than your feelings. Feeling is the secret of acceleration, not action, not effort, not busyness or strategy. Manifestation does not speed up because you work harder. It accelerates when your inner world aligns completely with the state of the fulfilled desire. And this alignment is felt, not forced. We are taught to strive, to hustle, to chase. But true power, creative power, lies not in the doing, but in the being. And being is a matter of feeling. You must feel yourself to be what you desire before it ever becomes fact in your world. When you vibrate higher, you don't merely think positive thoughts. You feel them. You let joy rise within you as though the thing were already done. You feel gratitude, not for something you hope will come, but for something you know is already yours in the unseen. You walk with the quiet confidence of one who has already received, already become, already embodied the end. This is the secret few understand. To feel from the end means to emotionally live in the state of your fulfilled desire, regardless of appearances. You bypass the senses and trust the higher law. The law that says whatever is felt as true within must externalize itself without. And it must, for feeling is the one ingredient that brings dead thoughts to life. You can repeat affirmations, visualize, or script endlessly, but unless feeling is present, the seed remains dormant. It is feeling that waters the seed. It is feeling that impresses the subconscious and causes it to bring forth the fruit. The question then becomes, what would I feel if I already had what I want? And more importantly, am I willing to feel that now? The mind will try to calculate the how, but the heart knows that the how is irrelevant. In the world of spirit, in the world of assumption, the feeling is the cause. Everything else is effect. You do not wait for the thing to come to feel better. You feel better and the thing comes. And quickly. Because once the vibrational match is made, time collapses. The bridge of incidents appears. And reality begins to bend in your favor. Life reorganizes around your new emotional center. So do not ask how long it will take. Do not concern yourself with signs or validation. Your job is singular, to feel the wish fulfilled. That is the beginning, the middle, and the end of creation. Feeling is not just a step in the process. It is the process. It is the ignition. It is the proof. It is the power. When you master the art of feeling, from the end, with joy, with gratitude, and with certainty, manifestation becomes not only inevitable, it becomes fast. You want to go faster? Then stop waiting and feel it now. Most people believe they are reacting to the world around them, that they are shaped by circumstances, victims of chance, and subject to whatever unfolds externally. But this is not the truth. You do not respond to the world responds to you. More specifically, it responds to the state you live from. Your state is your inner atmosphere, the combination of thoughts, beliefs, emotions, assumptions, and identity that you occupy moment by moment. And it is this state that constructs your reality. You may believe that a change in your job, a relationship, or a bank balance will make you feel secure, loved, or successful. But in truth, it works in reverse. The feeling of security must come first. The assumption of love, the certainty of success, all must be claimed internally before they can be reflected externally. You do not become wealthy because money appears. Money appears because you first entered the state of wealth. You do not become loved because someone chooses you. Someone chooses you because you first assumed the state of being lovable. It is not the external condition that creates the state. It is the inner state that gives birth to the external condition. Reality as you know it bends itself to match the vibration you dwell in. It does not question your worth. It does not analyze your past. It does not consider what you think you deserve. It simply reflects what you are being. And so if you want to change your life, you must change your state. Not by force, not by faking, but by deliberately moving your attention to the version of yourself who already has what you desire and living from that place. You must rise into the identity of the person who is already fulfilled. You must see the world through their eyes, think with their mind, and feel with their heart. This is the secret to transformation. No condition is fixed. No circumstance is final. Everything is fluid and responsive to your consciousness. What you see today is only the echo of a previous state. If you don't like what you see, do not fight it. Change the state that caused it. Persist in a new state long enough, and the world has no choice but to rearrange itself to match your new vibration. That is law. So stop looking at what is and start dwelling in what you prefer. Speak, think, and move from the state you desire, not the one you want to escape. This is not about denial, it's about dominion. You have been given the power to choose your state, and when you choose consciously, the world becomes your mirror, not your master. You are never reacting, you are always creating. The world does not initiate, you do. States create reality, not circumstance. And when you finally stop responding to life and start generating it from within, you will realize your world was always waiting for you to change states. Creation is finished. Everything you could ever desire already exists in the unseen, not as wishful thinking, but as real, living potential waiting for one thing: your assumption. To assume your ideal is not to fantasize about it or to hope it might someday arrive. It is to claim it now internally, emotionally, and consistently. To accept it as already yours in consciousness, regardless of the evidence presented by your five senses. This is where most falter. They assume the desire once, maybe twice, and then allow the outer world to shake their conviction. They let delay deceive them. They mistake temporary appearances as permanent facts. But the wise know persistence is the golden key. To persist in the assumption of your ideal means to stay loyal to the end result, to dwell mentally in the feeling of the wish fulfilled, no matter what the world appears to say. It means you make your desire your new inner reality and refuse to step down from that throne. Your senses will tempt you to abandon the vision. Circumstances will whisper, "It's not working." But you must remember, the delay is not denial. The time between assumption and manifestation is determined by one thing alone: your consistency of inner state. Every time you return to your ideal, every time you speak and think from the end, every time you choose to feel it real, you are condensing time. You are collapsing the distance between the unseen and the seen. The bridge of incidents begins to form the moment you decide that it is done and remain faithful to that decision. The subconscious mind, which manifests all things, accepts only what is impressed upon it through repetition and emotion. It does not respond to begging. It does not respond to desperation. It responds to assumption sustained with conviction. When you persist, you rise above doubt. You stop looking for signs and start being the sign. You stop asking if and begin living as if. And in that shift, reality bends. It is not your job to figure out the how. The path will reveal itself. People, events, opportunities, all will conspire and align to mirror your internal state. But none of that can begin until you persist without wavering. Your task is simple, but not always easy. Remain in the state. Return to it again and again. When the mind wanders, bring it back. When fear arises, choose faith. When the old self calls, ignore it. You are not trying to make it happen. You are accepting that it already has. And so, remain there. Think from the end. Speak as the one who already has it. Walk in the knowing that it is done. Persist in the assumption of your ideal. Not occasionally, but daily. Not reactively, but deliberately. Do this, and what once felt far away will appear right before you. Not by luck, but by law. The words you whisper to yourself when no one is listening are shaping your entire reality. The silent conversation you carry within, the internal dialogue that runs like background music throughout your day, is not harmless. It is powerful. It is creative. And most importantly, it is a mirror of your assumptions. To vibrate higher, you must first speak higher. Not only outwardly, but within. Your self-talk must match the outcome you wish to experience. You cannot desire wealth and speak from lack. You cannot crave love and tell yourself you're unworthy. You cannot seek success and mentally rehearse failure. These contradictions are the very blocks that delay your manifestation. If your desire is a seed, then your inner dialogue is the soil it's planted in. What you say to yourself, day in and day out, either nurtures that seed or poisons it. Every time you affirm your limitations, you are watering weeds. Every time you rehearse old stories of pain, rejection, or loss, you are anchoring yourself to a past that no longer serves you. To elevate your state, you must elevate your speech, not just out loud, but especially in the secret realm of thought. Begin to speak only what you want, not what you fear, not what you resent, not what you're trying to escape. Speak from the end. Speak from wholeness. Speak from the fulfillment of your desire as if it is already done. Your subconscious mind listens to every word you say, especially the ones repeated with emotion. When you speak lovingly to yourself, confidently to yourself, faithfully to yourself, you begin to rewire your reality. Your vibration rises, your state shifts, and your world reshapes. It's not enough to visualize your dream life if you're still tearing it down with your words. You can meditate every morning, but if you spend the rest of the day complaining, doubting, criticizing yourself or others, you are undoing the work. To vibrate higher, speak to yourself as one who is already living the life you desire. Say, I am chosen, I am powerful, I am abundant. Everything is working for me. Say it because it's true, and because saying it makes it true for you. When you catch yourself speaking from fear, stop, pause, choose again. This is your practice, your responsibility, your creative power. Your inner dialogue is not a private journal. It is a script the universe uses to shape your scene. So write it wisely. Speak from love. Speak from faith. Speak from victory. Elevate your inner dialogue, and your vibration will naturally rise to match your highest vision. And from that elevated state, life can finally deliver the version of reality that was always waiting for your agreement. You don't have to fight for your desires. You just have to stop arguing against them. Speak as the person you want to become, and you'll become the one who no longer has to want. Would you like the final keynote expanded next? Time is not your master. It is not your enemy. It is not even real in the way you think it is. Time is a shadow cast by your consciousness. And when you become fixated on when something will come, you delay it. When you obsess over how it will arrive, you block the very path that would have brought it. To manifest quickly, you must do something that seems paradoxical. You must detach from time and attach fully to the vision. Your desire is already complete in the unseen. It exists in the eternal now, not in the future, not in a distant possibility, but here now in the realm of imagination and spirit. And the moment you assume it is already yours, the process of manifestation begins. But what sustains that process is faith, not force, surrender, not struggle. You are not here to control the timeline. You are not here to figure out the logistics. That is not your role in creation. Your role is to embody the end, to feel it real, to dwell in the experience of already having, already being, already fulfilled, and then let go. The more you check the clock, the calendar, or the progress bar of your reality, the more you reinforce the idea that it isn't here yet. And what you affirm internally, you perpetuate externally. The truth is, your desire will arrive the moment you no longer need it to. Not because you stopped caring, but because you became the version of yourself who knows it's done. Detachment from time is not passive. It's powerful. It's a quiet inner stance that says, it is already mine. I don't need to chase it. I am it. And in that certainty, things begin to move quickly. You are not waiting for anything outside to change. You are only ever waiting for your alignment, for your internal state to stabilize in the vibration of your vision. So attach to the what. Get clear on what you want, see it vividly, feel it deeply, assume it completely. Let it saturate your inner world, but then let go of the how and the when. That part is none of your concern. Trust that the same power that planted the desire in you knows the fastest, most perfect path to bring it to life. The moment you release the timeline, you enter timelessness. And in that space, manifestation accelerates. Miracles feel ordinary. Time bends. The desire, which once felt far away, rushes toward you. Because you are no longer pushing it away with doubt, desperation, or need. You create not by force, but by identity. You do not attract what you chase, you attract what you embody. So, detach from time, let it go, and attach fully, fiercely, lovingly to the vision. It is yours already. Now, simply be the one who knows it. You are not at the mercy of time, chance, or circumstance. You are not waiting for permission, for signs, or for perfect conditions. You are the operant power, the one who decides, the one who assumes, the one who becomes. Your reality is not formed by effort alone, but by state. The vibration you occupy, the feelings you dwell in, the words you speak to yourself in silence. These are the tools of creation. So if you want to manifest faster, raise your vibration. Not by doing more, but by feeling from the end, persisting in the assumption, and detaching from time. Refuse to be pulled into appearances. Instead, dwell in the unseen. Live in the fulfilled vision. Let your inner conversations reflect only what you wish to experience. And from this higher place, life will match you swiftly. Circumstances do not create states, states create circumstances. Choose the highest state and remain there. Watch as your world rearranges itself in response to your new identity. Do not be discouraged by delays. Do not shrink back because of appearances. Every seed takes time to grow. But when you assume the end and remain faithful, the manifestation becomes inevitable. This is not philosophy, this is law, this is your birthright. So rise. Speak as the one who already has. Feel as the one who already is. Walk as the one who already knows. Vibrate higher, and you will manifest faster. Thank you. Close your eyes for a moment. Breathe. Can you feel it? That still, quiet presence inside of you? That is the power that creates worlds. That is the force that has already answered your prayer. Many give up just before the miracle arrives. They look at the world around them, and when they see no change, they say, nothing is happening. But that is the greatest deception of all. The seed does not sprout the moment you plant it. The caterpillar does not transform into a butterfly overnight. And your miracle, though unseen, is already unfolding beneath the surface. The moment you desired it, it was yours. The moment you declared it, it was set in motion. But between the asking and the receiving, there is a test. A test of faith, a test of trust, a test of persistence. You do not beg the sun to rise. You simply trust that it will. So why doubt your own creation? The physical world is a mere shadow of your inner state. Everything you see now is the past made visible. But your future, It is shaped by your belief in this very moment. If you hold fast, if you refuse to let appearances shake your knowing, then nothing can stop what is already destined to be yours. Imagine it now, feel it deeply, the relief, the joy, the gratitude of already having what you seek. That feeling is not a dream. That feeling is reality in its truest form. Your body may not see it yet, but your spirit knows it is done. So do not let doubt steal what is rightfully yours. Do not let impatience push you into despair. The universe is always on time, and your miracle is coming faster than you think. What you consistently hold in your mind with unwavering faith becomes your reality. Your thoughts are not mere fleeting ideas. They are the seeds of creation, shaping the world around you. Every great achievement, every miraculous event, every shift in reality begins in the unseen realm of the mind. The life you experience today is nothing more than a reflection of past assumptions and beliefs, consciously or unconsciously entertained. Many people believe that reality is something fixed, something outside of them, something they must fight against or struggle to change. But this is the greatest illusion. Reality does not impose itself upon you. It conforms to the images and feelings you repeatedly dwell upon. If you persist in seeing yourself as someone who lacks, who is waiting, who is struggling, then your world must mirror that state. But if you can dare to see yourself as already possessing what you seek, if you can hold on to the feeling of fulfillment, then reality has no choice but to rearrange itself to match that inner conviction. This is not a matter of wishful thinking or empty daydreaming. This is the principle by which all things come into being. Every invention, every breakthrough, every success story first lived in the imagination of someone who refused to let doubt interfere. Before the airplane existed, it lived in the mind of the Wright brothers. Before great cities were built, they were nothing but ideas in the minds of visionaries. Even the simple act of writing a letter begins first as a thought before it takes shape on paper. The unseen must always come before the seen. Your miracle is no different. It is already forming. The moment you conceived the desire, the moment you saw it in your mind and felt its reality, the process began. The only thing that can delay its arrival is doubt, impatience, or a return to the old way of seeing things. When you waver between believing and doubting, between seeing yourself as having it and fearing that it will never come, you send conflicting signals to the universe. But when you persist, when you remain steadfast in the assumption that it is already yours, then nothing in this world can stop it from appearing. You do not need to force anything. You do not need to struggle or chase after it. The universe is not moved by desperation. It is moved by faith. Simply hold to the inner vision. Live from the end as if what you desire is already part of your life. Let that feeling of fulfillment become natural to you. Make it the dominant state of your being, and soon, what was once only in your imagination will stand before you as your tangible reality. So do not waver, do not let temporary appearances deceive you. What you seek is already on its way, unfolding in ways beyond your comprehension. Trust the process. Stay in the state of fulfillment. Your imagination is the blueprint of your future, and the more you persist in the reality of your desire, the sooner it must become visible in your world. The concept of time is one of the greatest illusions that keeps people trapped in a cycle of waiting, hoping, and doubting. It creates the false belief that what you desire exists somewhere in the future, always just out of reach, always dependent on external circumstances aligning in a certain way. But in truth, the future does not exist apart from your present state of being. What you call the future is simply a projection of what you assume to be true now. If you believe your miracle is far away, it will remain far away. If you persist in the feeling that it is already done, it must be made manifest in your world. Everything you seek already exists in the unseen. The delay you perceive is not a delay in reality. It is simply the time it takes for your consciousness to align fully with your desire. The moment you accept it as true in your inner world, the outer world has no choice but to conform. This is not a process bound by time, but by your level of conviction. If you remain in a state of doubt, questioning when and how it will happen, you stretch the illusion of time, keeping your desire at arm's length. But if you let go of the need to see physical proof and instead trust that it is already yours, time collapses and a manifestation appears effortlessly. Think of a seed planted in the soil. The moment it is planted, the process of growth has begun. You do not dig it up every day to check if it is growing. You trust that the unseen forces of nature are at work. Your desires operate the same way. The moment you plant the seed of assumption, the inner knowing that what you desire is already done, the universe begins to arrange everything necessary to bring it into form. You do not need to force or rush it. Your only task is to persist in the conviction that it is already accomplished. Many people make the mistake of measuring their progress by what they see with their physical eyes. If they do not see immediate evidence, they assume nothing is happening. But this is where faith must take over. The physical world is always the last to reflect what has already been set in motion in the unseen. Do not be deceived by appearances. Just as a tree is fully formed in the seed before it grows into view, your miracle is already complete in the invisible realm. Doubt, impatience, and frustration are what keep you bound to the illusion of time. But the moment you release the need to wait and instead move into the certainty that it is already yours, you align yourself with its reality. It is not coming, it is already here. It is not in the future, it is now. The only thing left for you to do is to remain in the state of knowing, to feel as though you already have it, and to trust that it must appear. Because when you no longer look for it, when you no longer question its arrival, that is when it finally shows up, exactly as you imagine. Faith is the invisible force that turns the unseen into the seen. It is the bridge between your desire and its physical manifestation. Without faith, the mind wavers, shifting between hope and doubt, delaying what is already meant to be yours. But when faith is unwavering, it collapses the illusion of separation between what you seek and what you experience. Faith is not merely believing in something distant. It is the certainty that what you desire is already a reality, even when your physical senses show no proof. Most people rely too heavily on what they see. They look at their circumstances and allow them to dictate what they believe is possible. But reality does not work this way. What you see now is simply a reflection of your past thoughts, beliefs, and assumptions. If you allow the present moment to discourage you, you continue to recreate the same cycle. Faith requires that you look beyond appearances, that you trust in the unseen, that you persist in knowing the truth of your desire even when the world suggests otherwise. Consider the way a builder constructs a house. He does not question whether the house will stand simply because in the early stages there is only an empty lot. He follows the blueprint with confidence, knowing that step by step the structure will take form. Your desires follow the same principle. The moment you assume something to be true within yourself, the foundation is laid. Every time you affirm it, every time you feel its reality, you add to the construction of its manifestation. The world may still show you an empty lot, but faith sees the finished result. Faith walks through the completed home before a single wall is built. Doubt is the only thing that can weaken this bridge. If you entertain doubt, you pull yourself back into the illusion of separation, delaying what was already yours. Many people give up too soon because they do not see immediate evidence. They abandon their vision just before it would have materialized. But faith demands persistence. It demands that you trust the process, even when there is no physical confirmation. If you hold fast, the outer world must eventually conform, for the unseen always precedes the seen. Faith is not passive, it is an active state of knowing. It is the ability to move through life with the confidence that your desires are already in motion. It is the refusal to be shaken by external circumstances. It is standing firm in your assumption, unwavering in the belief that what you have claimed is already yours. The greatest manifestations come to those who trust, who do not waver, who hold to their vision even in the absence of proof. The process is always working even when you cannot see it. Faith is the key that unlocks the door, and when you persist in that knowing, the unseen must become seen. Just as surely as the sun must rise, just as surely as the seasons must change. What you seek is already seeking you. Faith is simply the bridge that brings it into view. What you see in the world around you is nothing more than a reflection of your past thoughts, beliefs, and assumptions. It is not fixed. It is not absolute. It is simply an echo, a delayed response to the state of consciousness you have previously occupied. If you allow yourself to be deceived by what appears in front of you, you will continue to recreate the same experiences, trapped in an endless loop of reacting rather than creating. But if you understand that the outer world is always playing catch-up to your inner state, then you will no longer be swayed by what seems to be. Instead, you will hold firm to what you know must come. The mistake most people make is believing that the physical world holds power over them. They see lack, so they feel lack. They experience delay, so they assume their desire is far away. But this is the great illusion. The moment you react to what you see, you reinforce it, giving it more life, allowing it to persist. But the moment you detach, the moment you refuse to accept anything less than the fulfillment of your desire, you set into motion a shift that must eventually be reflected in your external world. This is why you must ignore the 3D world when it contradicts your vision. If what you desire is not yet visible, it is only because reality is still adjusting. The physical world is slow to catch up, but it must follow the direction of your inner conviction. Just as a shadow cannot move on its own, but only follows the movement of the object casting it, so too does your external reality follow the movement of your mind. If you remain steadfast in your assumption, the outer world has no choice but to reshape itself in accordance with your new state. Consider a radio. If you want to listen to a specific station, you must tune into the correct frequency. If you keep tuning into the wrong station, you cannot blame the radio. It is simply reflecting the frequency you have chosen. Your life works the same way. If you continue to observe and react to what you do not want, you are tuning into that reality and keeping yourself locked in it. But if you shift your focus, if you persist in seeing only what you desire, you will change the frequency of your life, and soon the world must reflect that new state back to you. Remain firm in your assumption. Walk through life as if your desire is already fulfilled. Speak, think, and feel from the end. Do not seek confirmation from the physical world. It will always be a step behind. Your job is not to question or to look for evidence. Your job is to persist, to live in the certainty that what you desire is already yours. And when you do this, when you truly commit to the unseen reality within, the world around you will have no choice but to align. The illusion of delay will vanish, and what was once only a vision will stand before you, real and undeniable. The way you feel is the key to everything. Your emotions are not merely reactions to your circumstances, they are the very cause of them. Every experience in your life is a reflection of your inner state, shaped by the feelings you consistently hold. If you feel lack, you will see lack. If you feel abundance, you will experience abundance. The universe does not respond to your words or your actions alone. It responds to the dominant emotions that live within you. This is why feeling is the secret to manifestation. It is not enough to simply think about what you desire. You must feel as if it is already yours. Many people believe they must wait for external changes before they can feel happy, fulfilled, or secure. They believe that once they receive their desire, then they will feel joy. But this is working in reverse. The truth is that you must feel the joy, peace, and certainty first, and then reality will shift to match that inner state. You must enter the mood of your fulfilled desire before it appears in the world around you. This is the great secret that separates those who manifest effortlessly from those who struggle and wait. Consider an actor preparing for a role. If he wishes to be convincing, he must fully embody the character. He must think, speak, and feel as the character would. He does not simply repeat lines without emotion. He immerses himself in the state of being. In the same way, you must embody the state of your fulfilled desire. If you wish to experience love, feel love now. If you wish to experience wealth, feel the security and freedom of wealth now. If you wish to experience success, feel the confidence and accomplishment of success now. The more deeply you immerse yourself in this feeling, the faster the world around you will conform. The reason feeling is so powerful is that it bypasses the conscious mind and directly influences the subconscious, where all creation begins. Your subconscious does not question, argue, or analyze. It simply accepts and expresses what you deeply feel to be true. This is why fleeting thoughts have little impact, but sustained emotions shape your destiny. If you consistently feel unworthy, the world will reflect situations that confirm your unworthiness. But if you persist in the feeling of being loved, successful, and abundant, reality has no choice but to make it so. The greatest mistake people make is allowing their emotions to be dictated by what they see. They react to circumstances instead of creating them. But the moment you take control, the moment you decide to feel as though your desire is already fulfilled, you set a new course for your life. Your feelings become the seed, and the universe must bring forth the harvest. So, hold to the feeling of your wish fulfilled. Let joy, gratitude, and certainty fill your heart. Live in the assumption that it is done, and soon, what was once only a feeling will take shape before your very eyes. The moment you decide on a desire, the universe sets everything in motion to bring it to you. But before it fully manifests, you may experience resistance. This is the final test. It is not a sign that your manifestation is failing. It is a sign that it is near. The greatest mistake people make is giving up just before their breakthrough arrives. They see obstacles, delays, or even the complete opposite of what they desire, and they assume it means their manifestation is not working. But in truth, this resistance is an illusion, a last remnant of the old reality trying to hold on. When you persist in a new assumption, your subconscious mind begins reshaping your world to match it. However, everything that contradicts this new state must first be cleared away. Sometimes this appears as chaos, as though things are falling apart, but they are not falling apart. They are rearranging. Imagine shaking a snow globe. At first the snow swirls chaotically, but soon it settles into a new order. Your persistence is what allows the new order to form. If you stop shaking the globe, the snow settles back into the same place it was before. The same is true with your mind. If you waver, you return to the old reality. This is why persistence is the test. The moment of greatest resistance is often right before the shift occurs. The closer you are to your miracle, the louder the old reality will try to hold on. It will tempt you with doubt, with fear, with evidence that seems contrary to your desire. But this is where most people fail. They see this resistance and assume they have lost. So they abandon their vision, allowing the old state to remain intact. But if they had held on just a little longer, the breakthrough would have come. Think of a seed buried in the soil. Before it sprouts, the ground looks unchanged. There is no visible sign of progress, yet beneath the surface the seed is breaking open, pushing through the dirt, reaching toward the light. If someone were to dig it up too soon, they would say, "Nothing is happening," and throw it away. But if they had waited, they would have seen the seedling emerge. The same is true for your desires. When you persist, even when there is no evidence, even when resistance seems strongest, you are allowing the unseen forces to complete their work. You must develop an unshakable knowing. No matter what appears in front of you, you must refuse to accept anything less than your desired outcome. Reality is fluid, always shifting in response to your inner state. The test is whether you will hold your vision in the face of illusion. When you pass this test, your breakthrough is inevitable. So when things seem hardest, when it feels like everything is against you, remember, this is the final illusion. Hold firm, stay the course. Your miracle is closer than you think. Everything you desire is already yours. The world you see is only a reflection of your past assumptions, but you are not bound by it. Imagination precedes reality. Time is an illusion, and faith is the bridge that brings the unseen to form. You must ignore the distractions of the physical world, knowing that it is always catching up to your inner state. Your feelings are the secret. They shape the life you experience, and above all, your persistence is the test. Just before the breakthrough, resistance may appear strongest, but this is only the final illusion. Hold firm, trust in the unseen, walk as if your desire is already fulfilled, and soon the world will align to match it. You are the creator, the cause of all that unfolds. Never doubt the power within you. Your miracle is coming. Do not give up. Thank you.